Hello and welcome back to Billy Ho Sports. We're still continuing the coverage. Haskell Saturday coming up this Saturday, July 20th at Monmouth Park. Of course, the feature race is the Grade 1 Haskell Stakes, which I have already put out a preview video for. So be sure you check that out. I will be back later on in the week with past performances once the entries post draw is tomorrow. All that stuff comes out. I will have more in-depth analysis, final bets, selections of that nature. Today, we are going to get into my probably as favorite as the Haskell of a race, so to speak, is this Grade 2 United Nations, which is on the turf. Big Grade 2 event. Probably, I guess it would be probably the runner-up to the Haskell as far as importance. But I really, really like the field. It's a strong field of possibles. We don't know for sure who is all going or not, but I'll have 8 or 10 that we're going to preview today to give you an early look. So subscribe to the channel, smash the like, set that notification bell too while you're at it. And if you are on X, formerly Twitter, give Billy Ho Sports a follow. Appreciate it. Let's go. United Nations Stakes is going to be a 1 3/8 on the turf, 3-year-olds and up. So I'm going to start with a horse that I got into a bit last summer, I suppose. Farbridge, trained by Chris Clement, is now a 4-year-old colt by English Channel. I used when I just first learning about turf racing, handicapping years ago. English Channel was one of the top sires of turf horses there for the longest time, still is probably. But he accounted well for himself at the Grade 1 Manhattan on June 8th at Saratoga. He was right alongside some of the top turf horses in the nation, in the world. So he makes a bold inside move, entering the stretch. Then it looked like he really had an opportunity to score the victory at 18-1, but was out hustled by like horses like Measured Time and Nation's Pride. And the other one I'll get to in a little bit. So a really solid horse we'll be looking at closely. Tawny Port is another one that I have some interest in, former Derby trailer from a year or two ago, trained by Chris Clement. Recently ran third, just missed by a neck in the Grade 3 Monmouth Stakes, going 9 furlongs on the turf. Was quite a finish, really, because he was third by a neck, and then the two ahead of him dead heated for the win. So that's how that ended up. And I believe there was only maybe a length and a half separating the top 8 horses in the race. So previous to that, he went 9.5 in the Man of War Stakes at Keeneland, fourth by 9 lengths, not as promising in that one, but seems to be a horse that's gathering since the switch to turf last year, gathering some momentum. Fort Washington, trained by Shug McGahee, was part of that dead heat pair at 35-1, along with Running Bee, who's in this race. We'll talk about in a second. He closed from 2 lengths back to get to the wire. Previous race, he had an extremely troubled trip. He bobbled out of the gate, got off slow at Churchill Downs, and that was a very strong allowance race. So I kind of tossed that one. He's making his 3rd start of this 2024 season. So could be an interesting horse. I'll have to see it again, I think. I'm not really 100% sure because, 35-1, it's really hard to back up when you throw a bomb in like that. It's like shooting a 60 in golf. It's really hard to go out and shoot a 60 again the next day. Running Bee, like I said, trained by Chad Brown, the other half of that dead heat at Monmouth. This 5-year-old is by English Channel as well. Previously had a 3rd in the Dinner Party Stakes and then an allowance win previous to that. Really has good front end running speed. That last out in the dinner Party Stakes didn't fare so well. Did just tired out and finished 3rd in that one, but it was on a soft Pimlico turf, so that probably compromised his ability to hold on down the stretch. Next one I want to talk about is California Frolic. That's trained by Juan Carlos Avila, and he ran sixth in that Monmouth Stakes. That's how close it was, really. If I break it down for you, like I said, Tawny Port was third, uh, a neck ahead of the fourth place horse. She was third by a neck over the fourth by a neck, who was three quarters ahead of the fifth horse, who was just a nose in front of California Frolic. So that's how far off California Frolic was from the, like maybe a length at best from the leaders. So anyway, real quick, Billy Ho Sports heating up for the summer with hot takes. And so you're going to need to be subscribed to the channel. Click that like button while you're at it, please. And if you're on X, give me a follow at Billy Ho Sports. I post all my new videos there. But if you set your notification bells on YouTube, you won't miss a thing. So thanks for listening. Let's continue. Webslinger, trained by Mark Cassey, recently won the Corleywood Stakes. That was at Churchill Downs, June 15th. Felt like a definite drop in class for him. He's been nothing short of a grade 1 or grade 2 horse for the last year. So maybe he just needed a confidence boost. So dropped him down and got a win. Won the race in his usual closing fashion. Did have to get a bit of aggressive urging from Jose Ortiz down the stretch to get him clear, but he got there. Ran well in his previous, actually, the Old Forest on Derby Day. So definitely one of my first look leans, Webslinger. He was right with the leaders down the stretch in that race, but he did flatten out. But he was beaten by Program Trading, Naval Power, top 5 turf males in the DRF rankings. So I'll have more to say about that in a little bit. So stick around. I'm going to go with Shoy, Sugoi, Shoy, like sugar, but oi. Trained by Mike Maker, ran a close second to Webslinger in the Corleywood. 7-year-old horse, been on fire this year. He actually won his first 4 races, which included the grade 3 Louisville Stakes, front running effort, going 12 furlongs, holding tough down the stretch. And then that ran that second to Webslinger. So Shigoi, definitely one I'm going to be looking a little closer at when the past performances come out, because this one might be in there for some value. One that I think would not be value is a Dammo. That's another Chad Brown trained turfer. And when you see turfer and Chad Brown and an older horse like a Dammo, who did win this race last year in 2023, but has not graced the winner's circle since then. 2024, 7th, 8th, and 10th in his 3 starts. The last one was a 7th in the Monmouth Stakes. He was closer, but like I mentioned, the entire field from first to last was separated by maybe a length and a half. So just hasn't really shown his potential. Just that one win in the last 3 years. So one I'm probably looking to fade. Another one, this one's trained by Todd Pletcher, Emmanuel, coming off 6th in the Arlington Stakes. Clocked hard coming out of the gate in the 2-post and just never settled in, was dead last the whole way and remains so. So you could toss that race if you'd like. Was no match in the Maker's Mile, but did win a grade 3 Canadian turf in his first start of 2024. Won a grade 3 poker stakes last year. So probably a pretty good grade 3 enlisted stakes type horse, but probably not going to have Irad Ortiz aboard for this one. We'll see. Pletcher has another entry named Grand Sonata, and these are probables or possibles, so may or may not go. But this 5-year-old, 1 allowance win in the last 2 years, cashed a couple of checks back in the late fall, 4th place finishes, coming off in 8th place in the Monmouth Cup or Monmouth Stakes. He did press out front in 2nd place for a full mile, 8 furlongs, and hit the stretch, was there, but he weakened late and then ended up being steadied by the jockey. I believe it was Castellano, Javier. So wasn't a bad effort for second off the layoff, but probably going to be a long shot at best. So another one, this one actually might garner some interest. I'm not sure, but Data Man, trained by Grand Motion, is a 4-year-old by Tappet, coming off back-to-back minor stakes victories, listed stakes, going 8.5 furlongs in the last. Closed very well after moving into good position for the stretch drive, and actually overcame a rough start. Hit the gate at the start, got off slow, so he was able to close that one out. Then previous to that, which was interesting, he won the Henry Clark Stakes, and actually English B was in that one, who he went heads up with down the stretch and outkicked English B. So if you see English B being bet on, then maybe this one could offer some value because he's already defeated that horse once. So English B actually came out and won, or the dead heated the next. I'm going to count it as a win, obviously. So another one, Get Smoking, trained by Mark Cassie, recently finished 4th in the Grade 2 Eclipse. That was going 8.5 on the all-weather Woodbine track. Showed the way throughout, firing on all cylinders, then hit the top of the stretch, but was not able to hold him off down the stretch. And in his first start of 2024. So they started him off after the long layoff since last September 9th. Last September 9th, he went wire to wire in the Kentucky Turf Cup at Kentucky Downs. 12 furlong, mile-and-a-half race, which was a Breeders' Cup Challenge race, got him an invite, that win did, to the Breeders' Cup Turf. Unfortunately, suffered a setback and scratched out of that race. So they gave him the winter off, and then they've given him all year off, basically. And then they dropped him in to that stakes race on the all-weather. So I think that was a good first start of 2024 on the all-weather synthetic. So that's one of those, needed a race. Should improve off of that and the jump back to turf in the second start as well. So that could be one that might offer some value. So to wrap things up, my early lean is going to be Farbridge, probably going to be my final, but just feels like the classiest. Him and Webslinger both, but I like Farbridge a little better. There were 3, actually, I missed Program Trading, Measured Time, Program Trading, and Nation's Pride, all 3 top 10 DRF ranked male turf horses, and he was right there with them. Can run with them at any time. I think he's maybe not quite as good, but maybe a 1B to their 1As. So I definitely will include Webslinger early on. He ran versus those guys as well. The third and the Old Forester proved that. Then you have improving horses like Tawnyport, running B, looking a little better. Need to get closer looks at Get Smoking and Data Man. And I think I'm going to need to see another one from Fort Washington. That effort was pretty huge at 35-1. So I'll have all that, your answers and more later on this week when the betting card video comes out. I'm going to cover most, if not all, 6 stakes races with, final analysis and selections and things of that nature. So don't forget, post draw is tomorrow. So I will be on the grind once again once we get those past performances. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit that like button. I appreciate that. That helps with the algorithm. Then jump over on X, give me a follow there, and share. I like it when people share the content. So if you like what you're seeing, if it's helpful at all, share it with a friend. And that'll do it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.